Hi guys. Today your assignment is to do a democratic ideals foldable. So I am here to show you kind of how to do that. First, you need a piece of paper. I just chose to have a little printer piece of paper. You could also use notebook paper if that's what you have. You could also use, if you wanted a longer piece of paper than a regular 8.5 by 11, it could be helpful if you, especially if you write larger, to have a longer piece of paper, like a legal size page. So I'm going to back my computer up a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. And then you're going to need scissors, and you're going to need some sort of ruler or tape measure, which I couldn't find my ruler, so I'm using my tape measure that I use for knitting. Okay, so in your Canvas course, you should be on this page where you can also see the slideshow. Okay, and so this Democratic Ideals foldable is going to be something you can use throughout the year. And I'm just going to get you started, and then you'll finish it on your own. So the second slide, so before we start, okay, so you take your piece of paper and you fold it in half, hot dog style, if you're familiar with that type of description. Okay, and then, mine is not perfect, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So then I'm going to take it and I'm going to use my ruler, or in my case, my measuring tape, and I'm going to put it down the side, and I'm going to mark off about a little dash at about every 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to do that on the table, which I know you can't see very well. Let me see if I can make my, there we go. Now you can see it, sort of. Okay, so I'm going to mark a little bit past 1.5. Okay, and then, so then I go to 2 and a bit, 3 and a bit is another 1.5. So 4 and a little bit, 5.5, 6 and a little bit. Okay, you can kind of see what I've done there. 7.5 and a little bit, 9 and a little bit. Okay, so you should end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots. Now, you could probably do a little bit. I ended up with a lot bigger spot on the bottom, so you could probably do a little bit longer, a little bit more above 1.5 than I did. Okay, so once you've got that done, actually I'm going to keep this down here so you can see. You're going to take your scissors, and you are not going to cut both pieces. You're only going to cut the top flap all the way to your crease where you folded it in half, okay? And I am not very good at cutting straight this way, so I'm going to lift mine up and I'm going to cut it that way. I think I might do a little bit better job. Okay, so you cut. So that little dash is just to kind of mark where approximately you need to make a cut on your paper so that you end up with 7 flaps. Okay. All right, so once you've made those 7 cuts, yours should look like this, right? And then you've got your back should be one whole piece. Okay, so now each flap is going to be a different democratic ideal. And as you can see on this slide, it says on each flap, write 1 democratic ideal. So I'm going to write, okay, sorry, I can't do that. I can't see as well. And you can put these in any order you want. But I'm going to start with popular sovereignty. I'm going to write republicanism. Let's see here. Separation of powers. Let's put that a big. Checks and balances. Federalism. Rule of law. And individual rights. Okay, so now, as you can see, I've got on each flap one of the terms. Okay, once you've got that done, you go to the next slide, and the directions are, so underneath of the word, so the first one is rule of law, so I find where I put that, wrote that down, okay? So you're gonna put the definition here on the flap, and then you're gonna draw your picture. Don't take up the whole space, but I would draw your picture kind of like right here next to your flap, okay? Now, I am by no means an artist, okay? This drawing here is the one I made, so it's not beautiful, perfect. Your drawing does not have to be beautiful or perfect, okay? So the first definition is your rule of law, and you're gonna write everyone must, and I'm gonna write must really big, follow the same laws, even those in government positions of power. So even the president, even the vice president, I can't write and talk at the same time sometimes. Even the Speaker of the House, even the President of the Senate, right? All those people in positions of power all have to follow the same laws, okay? So that's my definition there. And then you can use one of the pictures I've provided here, or you can create your own. I'm gonna draw this one that, I created. So I'm gonna write laws, and they're gonna be over the line to show they're above. And then I drew different people to represent, so like the people themselves, so that's us, the citizens. The legislative branch, and that's going to be Congress. The executive branch, which is president and vice president. And then the judicial branch, which is our Supreme Court and the federal, the court systems at each level of government. So, okay, so you can see they are all under the law. Now, I'm going to leave this area blank because we're going to use this again later this year, and you're going to put a quote there to see where you can see it in a primary source, because one of the big things that our standards ask of us is to understand how the democratic ideals are evident or show up in our founding documents, so those primary sources. So from there, you're just going to keep on going through your slideshow and do the same thing for each word. So popular sovereignty, you're going to write your definition over here, and you're going to draw a little picture right here. Okay, so the popular sovereignty is the power of the people rule, and so the people make decisions directly, versus republicanism, where the citizens vote for someone else, so like a representative, as you can see here, who then make the decisions on laws and that sort of thing. Okay, so hope that's helpful to show you how to make your foldable. And remember, take a picture of your foldable, both the outside and then the inside, so your teacher can see that you've got your definition in your pictures, and that way they can give you some feedback if you drew your own picture and if it doesn't quite make sense for the concept. Okay, all right, see your teacher for any help.